Oh, hello, everyone. We are live. I don't see BrendaG. Don't even see this on her channel.
There we go.
Hi, BrendaG. I got to find the URL for this on your YouTube page. Let me refresh.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so let me get the URL for this new one.
Well, I can give that to you.
I got it. I'll post it in the chat from the
Okay. See if we can get some folks in here. Everything going cattywampus tonight.
Yes, they are. Yes, they have been. Okay, I just put a note in the chat of the old show.
Let's see if we can get some folks over here. Kopi's in the house. Say hey to Kopi.
Hello.
Howdy.
I'll pop out the new chat. Give us one moment here. We're getting ourselves situated. We had some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. All right, how many people are on the old show? I don't know.
Well, I've got 8 over there. It's showing on my screen.
I put a comment in the chat. Are they there?
Let
me put a comment with some emojis. That tends to help.
Paste.
Emojis.
See if that rounds them up. Yeah, we're getting a few of them staggered in here now. Lynn's in the house. Hey, Lynn, good to see you. Jim Shears is in the house. Good to see you. Y'all come on in, share this thing around now because I worked my tail off a while ago trying to get this spread every place, and then come to find out it wasn't going to work.
Do I have to elevate this to Susan over at YouTube?
Yes.
Let me get her on the phone here.
Tell her fanny is about to be kicked even further than Kanadistan.
Susan, yeah. Fix Brenda's channel. Okay.
She fixed it all right.
Okay. All right. Love you too. Bye.
She fixed it all right. Yeah, I got her number. Frenzy Wicked Truth's in the house. Arneal Media's in the house. They're staggered in a little bit at a time here.
Good. Glad to have you here. Sorry about the technical difficulties. StreamYard was not cooperating.
Yeah. First time I've ever had that thing do that to me. But
didn't you have trouble making the show a week ago? Like, because you make the show about 6 days before it airs. Didn't you have trouble at that point?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
It put it on StreamYard, but it wouldn't put it on YouTube.
Makes sense.
And then I waited an hour or so, and then it went right on through on YouTube when I went to do my edits and stuff.
You should, after the show's over, you should manually go into YouTube on the Creator Studio and then delete out the show that never aired.
Yeah.
That way you'll avoid confusion
to
people. Give Brenda a big old like for all of her troubles here, please.
It does this to you when you're weak and worn out.
Well, yeah.
I've spent a couple weeks being pretty sick. I know a lot of you have inquired as to the ultimate demise that I thought that I was going through, when to send flowers and
See, you have to use the line, the rumors of my death has been greatly exaggerated.
Well, there for a while I'd have had to got better to die. There was a couple nights there where I thought, there ain't no chance of me dying because I'm too sick. But
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Pulled through it. Now I'm just weak as a kitten. Have you ever tried to get up and walk and your legs are like rubber bands underneath you? Just, wobbling around and bouncing off the walls and just weak.
Thankfully, no, but
Well, your day's coming, my friend.
Yeah.
Your day is coming.
yeah. I found out some health routines I can do to make my life more pleasant. And I'm sure you're already locked and loaded with what I discovered, but as I'm getting older, I found out some cheat codes.
All right.
I found out that I don't do well dehydrated or dry. Since it's the winter, the heat's coming on, it's dead dry. It's like a desert in this house.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this, if you can see that thing there, that's a vaporizer or a humidifier.
Yeah.
Makes it nice in here. But when I go to bed, dry as a desert. So I wake up, my eyes are hurting, my sinus is hurting, my throat is dry, my lips are cracked. I feel like complete crap. Well, what am I doing? I've got moisturizer for my hands. I've got eye drops for my eyes. I've got lip balm for my lip. I drink a crap ton of water and I put the vaporizer in the bed. And you know what? I'm not even joking. I wake up, I feel I feel great. I feel like I'm 17 years old. Like no issues whatsoever. And I actually had problems where my eye, I think it was either got so dry my eye hurt for an entire day. That happened twice over the last 2 weeks. I don't know if my eye's slightly open and it touches the pillow and it's or whatever it is. But man, I woke up today. I was like, hello world. There was nothing wrong with me. I was like, holy crap.
Well, your body is made up mostly of water anyway.
Yeah.
So if you dry out, there ain't much of you left. I've gone through that because of what I've been through in the last 2 weeks or so here. And yeah, your body will do strange things. It'll cramp up in places you didn't know would cramp.
Well, you know, it's like my body used to be a tank. Like you could throw anything at it. It didn't care. Dry, wet, sore, achy, sunburn. It didn't matter. Like I was just trucking. Like nothing slowed me down. Now I'm like, holy crap. So
yep. Now the least little thing will kick your keister so high up in the air that you don't know if it's going to come down or not.
Chris Nealon's here. Hi, Chris. Did we say hi to Russ from Simply Creation?
Russ is in the house, and we have a foreign one in there. Pronounce that for me, would you please?
Rich Vibes?
No.
Oh, we got to boot that guy. That they're putting in websites.
Oh, okay.
Remove that.
Is that something I have to do?
Yeah. They've been popping up over on my channel as well. But I don't know what that's all about. But hey, it's a bot. Okay. No worries.
I think we took care of that. And did we miss anybody else? Nope, I think we got them all.
If we didn't say your name, let us know. We're a little discombobulated getting the show off the ground today, but we're glad you're all here. We're ready to blow your mind.
Goes along with being sick in the middle of the winter. I hope that it's warmer for everybody than it's been here. Because today, the wind chills was like 0. And I don't do well in this kind of temperature to begin with. And then add some kind of bug and a ulcer and everything else to it. It just kind of kicks you around.
27 where I'm at now.
What's your wind chill?
That how do I find that out? Feels like 19.
Well, that's a heat wave.
Yeah. TFL Works is here. Hi, TFL Works.
Hey, TFL, good to see you. Hope everybody is having that heat wave that Matt's having. You'll be putting on your bikinis.
19 where I am, how cold is it in Indiana?
Well, let's see what the great weather guru has to say over here.
JJE is here. Hello.
It says that it's currently 20 degrees here This one is not showing me the wind chill. The one on my phone will though.
Well, mine's 8 degrees colder. It will wind chill here, so
That don't necessarily mean anything because the wind might be different.
12 feels like 12.
Let's see. Feels like 9.
It was close. Okay. Wow.
Feels like 9. And there's no hope in sight for it to warm up anytime in the foreseeable future. We're gonna have to get closer to March, I think, to see anything warm. It's hateful weather. I hate wintertime to begin with.
I do too. I really do. And now
today would have been my husband's birthday if he's still alive. Oh. And the first year we was together, I tried to have a surprise birthday party for him on his birthday, January the 20th. And the problem was that the temperature was about maybe 20 degrees and the wind chill was about 40 below zero.
You told me about this. This is nuts.
And I was trying to get rid of him for the day. It was on the weekend and I couldn't get anybody to take him and I couldn't get him to go nowhere. So he's sitting there regardless. And I'm not wanting to tell him I'm trying to give him a surprise birthday party. So it comes time for people to start showing up. Of course, the phone's ringing all day long. You know, he's wondering what's going on with the phone ringing all day. Well, as people tell me they couldn't come because it's just too darn cold. They either couldn't get their car started or was afraid they'd get there and not be able to get their car started or, you know, whatever. And so there's a few brave souls that decided they was going to venture out in it, but they didn't want to stay long, you know, because they got the car warmed up to get there. They didn't want it cooling down too much. They wanted to be able to get back home. And here he sits. So as they come to the door, I just opened the door and said, surprise. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to make the best of a bad situation. We all had a good time anyway, but, you know, it was just
good.
Lord have mercy. So I decided, okay, January is not the time to try to give somebody a surprise birthday party because you're going to end up being the one being surprised and the weather's going to be the culprit. That's just kind of pitiful. I feel sorry for people born in January.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a harsh month.
I think if I was born in January that I would just change it. I'd have it changed on my birth certificate to say that I was born, you know, some warm month.
Yeah. Okay. I want April to be here. So
well, last year, April the 15th, that was the day that my poor little shadow went over Rainbow Bridge, and it was snowing that day. I'll not forget it because Tony and I are out trying to dig the hole. And when Tony shows up, he looks at me, it's snow just flying. He says, are we going to be able to do this? And I said, well, according to Google, it says it ain't going to snow today. And we're standing there in a snowstorm. And he says, you got to be kidding me. So, you know, I asked Google and it says that there's no chance of snow. And I said, so this is just a figment of our imagination. Because if it's on the internet, it can't be wrong.
It's got to be true if it's on the internet.
Right. But that was April the 15th.
Yikes.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I've got some winter facts.
Ooh, will they blow our minds?
Maybe some of them.
Okay.
Did you know that winter kills more than twice as many Americans as summer heat does?
Interesting. Kind of a morbid fact, but that sounds about right. Being cold is nasty. Like you can survive being hot for a while. It was political snow, says Jim Bashir.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fake news. Fake news. In one study, Men rated pictures of women's breasts and bodies as more attractive in the winter months, while they rated pictures of women's faces the same. Researchers believe men don't see women's bodies as much during the winter, so they're more excited when they do.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Leaving something to the imagination.
You got to take what you can get in the winter months.
You don't swing in on a wrecking ball during the winter, do you?
I'll be spending summer at the wave pool at Hershey Park. There's not heavily clothed people in the park when they're in the swimming pool.
See, I can believe there's more twerking going on in the wintertime because you're trying to get warm.
Well, yeah, you make a good point. But
then that begs the question, well, why is there twerking going on in the summer?
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Say how my mind...
Yeah. I follow you. Yeah. I follow you. It's a little scary, but I'm following you.
Yeah. That's me. The southern hemisphere typically has milder winters than the northern hemisphere. This is because the southern hemisphere has less land and more maritime climate.
Okay. Mel's here.
Hey, Mel, good to see you.
It's not 2022 until his mind is blown. Did that fact blow your mind, Mel?
While it seems counterintuitive, Earth is actually closest to the sun in December, even though winter solstice is the shortest day of the year.
That's true. The angle makes the planet hotter in the northern hemisphere, even though it's farther away from the sun. Because the orbit is not a circle; it's more like a slight oval.
According to the Guinness World Records, on January the 28th of 1887, a snowflake 15 inches wide and 8 inches thick fell in Fort Keogh, Montana, making it the largest snowflake ever observed.
That is a thick piece of glass. Could you imagine that crashing into your head? 8-inch thick piece of snowflake?
Crashing into your roof, crashing into your car.
Ay.
That'd leave a mark.
Tell you what, man. Icicles, never stand underneath them. Could you imagine a 20-pound icicle sticking right through your head? No, thank you.
I don't want to have to call the insurance company and say, I guess I need to file a claim. There's a giant snowflake fell on my roof.
Yeah. Well, I remember the car's bumper was damaged. There was a meteorite. It was like only the size of like a marble, but it crashed into, and the parents were like, because the daughter was driving it, they were giving the daughter hell. Like, I didn't hit anything. It was a meteor that hit it overnight. And the insurance was not going to pay it or something. Yeah. Happens, I guess. It happens.
Now, I'm going to try to pronounce this. Chionophobia. I hope I pronounced that someplace close to reality. Is the persistent fear of snow, especially becoming trapped by snow. The term is derived from the Greek words chion and phobos, meaning snow and fear, respectively.
Interesting.
I don't know that I have a fear of it. I just don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I don't want to drive in it. I don't want to walk in it. I don't want to deal with it.
I was shoveling when we got it was supposed to be 4 to 10 inches. And we ended up getting like 5. But here comes the neighbor 2 houses down. He plowed the sidewalk. So I didn't have to shovel the side. I was like, thank God, I love you. I love you. I don't know who you are, but I love you.
We've had no snow here. I mean, little skiff that melts off in an hour, but
Right.
no snow.
Well,
So
we
I'm
had-
figuring February and March we're going to get kicked.
Don't jinx it.
No,
Yeah.
it's just, reality. You're not going to go through a winter without any snow.
Yeah, we had 3 inches afterwards, and that burned off real quick. And then we had an inch today, and that burned off, or an inch yesterday. I don't know when it was, but
We seem to be in a band here right now where it's either below us, south of us or north of us.
Well, that's good.
So,
that's good.
But it's cold. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to bother Scarlett much.
My dog was out for 20 minutes today. She came in like a little icicle. She didn't even care.
Well, she doesn't stay out that long, but she never does. Summer or winter, she goes out, does what she needs to do, and then she wants back in the house. But, it's used to, she'd sit out there and shiver and carry on. She doesn't do that anymore. It's like, let me out, let me out, let me out. Oh, isn't this cool? And run around, patrol the yard and all that kind of thing, like it ain't no big deal. And I'm like, you couldn't get me out of here with a stick of dynamite. Let's see. Every winter, at least one septillion, that's 1 followed by 24 zeros, snow crystals fall from the sky.
How could you possibly estimate that? That's hard.
I don't know.
Jim Bashir says he drove home from Berkey Land in the snow today. Berkey Land? Is that where Berkey lives?
That would be my guess.
Berkey lives near a customer in Bloomington. Okay. Andy Berkey, yeah. Andy Berkey, he used to have this end card on his videos, like a little still image before his video ended. And it was him standing against a brick wall, and it just says, "My name is Andy Berkey. This video is totally my fault." I thought that was a great way to end a video. This video is totally my fault. Not this video is my fault. This video is totally my fault. I liked him ever since then.
I didn't know he lived in Indiana. He's probably made sure that I didn't know that he lived in Indiana, and Jim's probably in big trouble now.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know where he lives, but he had a video outside of his house on the street. There was a pothole, and he filled the pothole with concrete and then put little embellishments on it of his logo, like little, I don't know if it was glass or little metal chunks into the concrete. So whoever's house has a cement-filled pothole with his logo on it on the street, that's his house right next to that. That's fun. Sometimes you got to take things into your own hands.
That's
you
right.
Can't wait for the township to come there and do that.
I like those ones where they just go out and they fill up the pothole with dirt and put some flowers in it.
Oh, God.
Right in the middle of the street.
Ay.
Speaking of that, apparently we're supposed to be going to get this mess with the city settled in the next couple of months. And I've told them, be sure that they put in there that I want that tree and that stump removed. That I'm not kidding.
You're
and
on
then
a warpath, Brenda.
Then we'll see what happens. But here's something that occurred to me the other day. I hadn't even thought about this. But I've told the story many times about how I lived here a couple years and worked from home and was working many, many hours a day. And I'd run out and I'd get the yard mowed and, do what I had to do and then get back to work. And I was trying to get my vehicle paid off and the house paid off before I retired. And I felt like I was doing a good thing. And one day, the doorbell rings. And so I stop what I'm doing. I go to the door. And it's the chief of police wanting to complain about a weed that had grown up next to the foundation of my garage back on the alley. And said that the city had an ordinance against weeds. And that I had so many days to remove it or he's going to give me a ticket. And I thought this had to be some kind of a joke. And after he left, I went back. Yeah, there was a little old weed about 6-8 inches tall that had grown up next to the foundation of the garage, and I plucked it. I went around town. I just dropped what I was doing, got in the vehicle, drove around town with my notebook and my pencil, taking down addresses of everybody that had weeds. And I'm talking about serious weeds, like half a lot of horseweed and stuff grown up next to house. I thought, now, what are they doing about these people? They're at my door complaining about a weed that had grown up next to the foundation of the garage. But what are they doing about these people that's just letting the weeds take their place?
That's a good point. I got to interrupt. Sorry. Home Improvement Tips is here. He says, just had a minute, wanted to stop in. But he also said, I'll remove that tree stump for you. Makes great burl clocks or tables or kinds of stuff.
Not this one. Not this one. This is a shell, is all this is. The inside of the tree totally rotted. So is all it is just a shell around the outside of it. It ain't going to make nothing except compost.
Well, I put your Gmail address in there. Yeah.
I could send him a picture. The Keebler Elves was living in this thing.
He was joking. He lives in California. Okay, no worries.
But here's the thing. I got to thinking about that the other day, and I thought, boy, wasn't they quick to jump all over me over one sorry little weed behind the garage that anybody could have just walked up there and plucked it if it had bothered them that damn much that, it was going to be that big of a deal to them. But they think nothing of leaving their tree rot in front of my house and fall on my house and cause $27,000 worth of damage and don't want to pay any restitution for any of it.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
And that made me even madder. I thought, Lord have mercy, I wish I'd even thought of this before. I mean, I should be going after them for thousands. I mean...
Yeah. How much was the potential fine for your weed? Yeah. Times by weight. Times it by weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That tree.
I mean, they didn't want to clean nothing up. They didn't want to, just stand and laugh. It's all they wanted to do, stand and laugh. I thought I should give them something to laugh about. Well, they're writing that check.
Yeah, Jim's racist. That's how they roll. You're so right, good sir. So right.
I'll tell you what, at this point, it's like, I dare them to cross me again. I dare you. Give me an excuse.
Heads are going to roll.
Oh, let's see what else we got here. A New Zealand insect called the Weta, W-E-T-A, freezes completely solid when temperatures drop during the winter. However, when temperatures warm back up, the insect unfreezes, thaws, and resumes its activities.
Yeah, fish will do that too. Fish can be solid ice, and it'll thaw out, and then the fish will go, blub, 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 blub.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
I mean, it reminds me of cockroaches. Because
yeah.
you can't seem to kill them things.
Nope. Hey, Home Improvement Tip says, well, when you see my other comment, hope all is well, Brenda. Oh, by the way, I spoke to Mike, the walker outdoors, about 6 months ago. He told me he was alive and well. So
well, that's good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. He's putting some thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up, people. Thumbs up.
Let's see. What else we got here? Google searches for terms like PORN or BOOBS or XXX and massage facility have a 6-month seasonal pattern. Specifically, they peak in early summer and around winter holidays. Google searches for eHarmony and Match.com also peaked around these times. Wonder why?
People trying to get some.
They're going to get some trouble.
They could. Or they could get a good time. You never know.
Well, depends on who they're married to, I guess. I wrote a new song the other day. I like to write parody kind of songs and songs that you don't hear, that nobody sings. And so I wrote one the other day called There's No Beans in Your Beanbag Anymore. See? And so somebody that's going to them kind of places and watching that kind of stuff might not want to be hooked up with me.
You hear that, everyone? Buyer beware.
Just heads up, so to speak. The onset of menopause is significantly higher in winter than in spring or autumn, with a smaller peak in the summer.
Did not know that.
I did not know that either. Maybe it's because of the heat you radiate. You need it in the wintertime more than you do in the summer, that's for sure.
Okay, yep.
Do you know that the average snowflake falls about 3 miles an hour?
No.
You do now.
All right, 3 miles an hour. There you go, folks. That's the answer.
1 inch of snow will produce just less than 1/10 of an inch of water when melted. 10 inches of snow will melt down only to 1 inch of water.
Yes, it is very light. Not that much water and snow.
It's one reason why you'd rather have rain than snow.
Yeah.
Don't have as much of it to fight.
It's weird, though, because on the grass, we shovel a little square so the dog can touch grass.
Oh, bless her heart.
Not that she even cares. But, and then, it's all started to melt away at one point. And where we shoveled, the grass is more brown. Like, we didn't, like that little bit that melted could have turned it green because there's like a square of brown in the yard where we shoveled.
That's because it's where she goes. And that kills the grass.
Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Did you know that the largest snowman ever built was in Bethel, Maine in February of 1999? It was 113 foot, 7-inch snowman. Broke the previous record held by the Yamagata, Japan, at 96 feet and 7 inches.
That's a big snowman. I wonder if the one in Japan was like a mecha robot snowman. They like building big robots in Japan. Robot statues.
Bismarck, North Dakota holds the record for the most snow angels at one time. On February 17, 2007, several schools joined forces to create 8,962 snow angels.
That's a lot of snow angels. Home Improvement says, is this Heifer Haven on the fly?
Well, we haven't given any advice yet, have we?
I don't think we have.
Now, I did a Heifer Haven today. And I also did, and that's when the fight started today.
That's when the fight started.
I didn't do any last week. Lord have mercy, I couldn't hold my head up. Let's see. Even today, now I don't know if I can pronounce this or not. The Kwakatula Indian of British Columbia changed their names. Well, I would too. And will take on the names of their ancestors at the beginning of winter. They believe this will protect them from the spirits of the dead who return at this time of year.
Interesting.
Yeah, if I had a name like that, I'd change it too. I can't even pronounce that. While the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year, seasonal lag means that the coldest period usually follows the solstice by a few weeks. No kidding. All I have to do is open the door and tell you that. I don't even have to open the door.
Well, all you need to do is have lots of colorful lights and you'll be nice and toasty warm like I have. I got the windows open. The windows are open and it's 70.2 degrees in here.
I can't afford the bill. I heat my office / bedroom, and I heat the utility room because the bathroom is right there at the utility room. And that's all of my house I heat. When I'm back here, I run a little space heater long enough to do the show to keep from turning into a popsicle, but that's it. I can't afford the heating bill.
Oh,
off the charts.
My house had baseboard electric before I bought this one, my older house, and that was expensive.
Yes, it is. That's what I got.
Very expensive. We replaced them. We're like, oh, these are old. We'll probably replace them with new units, and it won't cost as much. It costs just as much.
Oh yeah.
Didn't make a lick of difference.
Let's see, what else have I got here? Cold winter weather dulls sexual sensations, and cooler body temperatures decrease arousal for both men and women. Interestingly, women are 30% more likely to, well, let's just say enjoy the activities if their feet are warm. Hey, I'll tell you, I will enjoy anything better if my feet are warm. It doesn't matter what it is. My feet are cold, just forget it. We can't have dinner. We can't sew, paint, cook, walk the dog. No. If my feet are cold, everything comes to a complete halt.
Wow. No one likes cold feet, but my feet naturally run hot. I just had hot feet. That's all there is to it.
Now, that is the one thing that I miss about being married, because when my feet would get cold, I could get in the bed and plant my feet right on his back and thaw him right out.
See, that's the thing, because, you tell your wife, like, when your toe touches me, is it very, very hot? Yeah, you're nice and warm. I'm like, well, the inverse happens to me. You're sucking that heat right out of me. Like, it's so cold. It hurts. And I'm like, ah.
Oh. Yeah, I just roll my little tootsies up there and put them right flat on his back.
That's cruel. That is
all right
cruel. Out. Sinister.
Let's say a single snowstorm can drop 39 million tons of snow.
Wow.
Speaking of that, what about that volcano and the tsunamis in the Tonga Wonka land, whatever it is?
I think it was 2-foot wave hit California. 2 foot.
That's not much.
Well, think of moving all that water across the Pacific Ocean. Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. But I mean, as waves go.
Yeah, I know.
Usually talking like 40, 50-foot waves come and wipe out the buildings.
But you got to remember, it's not just 2 feet lapping onto the shore. It's 2 feet coming. Like, it doesn't stop. It just keeps coming at you. But yeah. No, that's volcanoes. That's changing the shape. I saw the islands. They had 2 little islands, and then a volcano kind of came up between the 2 little islands and bridged them. And they said that there's some sort of unstable shelf under they think the whole thing's going to collapse forward, and there's like a sinkhole in the geology where the magma is. It shrinks or something like that, and then the floor caves in, and they think it's going to make the shelf unstable, and all this stuff's going to fall into it, and it's going to make this huge potential disaster could happen from that area in the future when the geology under the ocean surface changes, because it could.
I guess it's worse for Hawaii than it is for California, with Hawaii being closer to it down there. I guess that's really a mess. I don't think, I haven't heard anything about it anyway, of it affecting Australia or New Zealand or anything down in there. I think it's just all headed west.
Yeah. All that steam and gas getting thrown into the atmosphere, though, because it exposed the lava, and then the lava is connected to the ocean. And you know what? Lava doesn't like to not be hot. It takes a lot. Like, you can't throw a bucket of water on lava and have it be a cold stone. Like it.
See, down there, they collected water off the roofs for drinking water. And the ash from the volcano has ruined all the water. Because you can't drink any of that stuff.
Sulfur, yeah.
Yeah. That's washing down into your rain barrels. And so the only water they have to drink is what is being flown in and dropped. I don't think I'd want to be there. I think I'd be trying to get on one of them planes, get the hell out of Dodge, because it don't sound like their future is very bright down there. It reminds me of, oh my gosh, this would have been back in the early 2000s, late 1990s, when they had that hurricane go through down in Louisiana. I don't remember what the name of that one was, but I had some friends that lived down in there.
Wasn't Katrina and Rita, was it?
Maybe Rita. I don't know. It was, one of the earlier ones. I had friends that lived down in there, and the house got flooded. Their land was all flooded. They had no way to go get food, and all the stores were closed. There was no electricity to run anything, and they had babies, and it was a mess. Even trying to get anything to them was a mess, because none of the services, FedEx or anything, was able to get anything into them. And so I finally got her on the phone, and I asked her, I said, so where do you want to go? Because you're going to have to get out of there. Oh, we're not going to go anywhere. I said, you're going to rethink that plan is what you're going to do. Yeah. I said, because you have no drinking water. You have no food. You got babies to take care of. Your house is flooded. This is not something that's going to go away overnight. I said, you better be making up your mind that at least temporarily, for the next few months until things straighten up and the waters recede, you're going to have a decent place to live somewhere. Or y'all going to die down there.
It's a shame people can't put that together.
And it still took her about another week before they finally gave up and said, okay, we got to get out of here.
Unbelievable. Home Improvement wants me to read you this comment. Says, you're married to a man that's tough. It's when you can plant your cold feet in the middle of his back and he can handle it. I'm a weak man. I can't handle that. No way.
Well, or it could be you got to be careful of the woman that you're married to if you put up too much of a fight. There's something to be said for that as well. I can't run from her. She knows where the chloroform is.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see what else we got over here on the list. Snow appears white because snow is a bunch of individual ice crystals arranged together. When light hits snow, it bounces all around the ice crystals, and the color of all the frequencies in the visible spectrum combined in equal measure is white. While white is the color we see in snow, individual ice crystals are actually translucent.
So inside snow, it's a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
But on the surface, it's white.
That's right. They're Skittles.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Oh, look outside. The Skittles are falling. The Skittles are falling.
Oh, Home Improvement Tip says, I live on a fault line, and they say if we ever have a big earthquake, we'll have beachfront property here in the desert. What? Yeah, when's California supposed to fall into the ocean? They keep saying that.
They've been saying that since I can remember.
Oh, no.
The most snow ever recorded in 24 hours in the United States was at Silver Lake, Colorado in 1921 at 76 inches. Coming in second is Georgetown, Colorado, in December the 4th of 1913 at 63 inches.
Pennsylvania is probably on that list because there was 1984 was that big ass snowstorm. Never saw as much snow ever. They sold T-shirts. I survived the snowstorm of '84.
The one we had here was the blizzard of 78. And that was just devastatingly horrible. It come in out of nowhere. The meteorologist didn't even know it was coming. And people it had been warm all day. And that morning, here come the snow the next morning. And I mean, the temperatures just dropped like a rock. The farm animals died in huge droves. People got stuck out on the freeway, couldn't get home, couldn't get, I mean, their cars would just freeze up right there on the highway. Dad worked nights, and he was trying to get home from work, and his motor froze up in his truck. And he wasn't prepared for this. It had been warm when he left for work the night before. He was just wearing, back then, leisure suits were in fashion, those polyester leisure suits. He was wearing one of them. He just took off in the snow up the highway because he couldn't stay there in the truck. It wouldn't run. He's going to freeze to death. So he takes up off the highway on foot, comes up on another car, and he was getting frostbite. And he thought, well, I don't care who's in here. I've got to get in with him because I'm going to freeze to death. So he crawled in, and there was 5 other guys in this car. And, body heat in the vehicle was enough to keep them alive until the troopers got there with Jeeps and was able to truck them out of there and get them to town. And he spent a couple nights at the fire station until they could get the road graders and stuff out to get him home. My stepmother and my brother were stuck at home, and there no electricity, no heat in the house. So they blanketed off one room and held up in the one room until some neighbors come over on snowmobiles and rescued them and got them out of there to a house that had a fireplace in it where they could get warm. But
that's some harsh stuff, man.
The Dad had a Great Dane out in the barn, and she had puppies, and they froze to death. The hogs all died, and it was just devastating. But yeah, they used to have T-shirts that I lived through the blizzard of 78.
That's what Len says. Yeah, blizzard of 78 shut Massachusetts down for weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a big mess. And the winter before it wasn't something to brag about. We had a lot of snow the winter before, but at least it was called for. People kind of expected that coming, and you could prepare for it a little bit. Not this one, but this came from no place, blindsided everybody. And that's why in September every year, Lord willing, if I have a few extra dollars put back, I try to lay in some extra supplies for the winter. Because you just never know. Some goofy storm come along and snow you in. Or you get sick and you can't get out. Or, whatever. But I always try to have, extra dog food and make sure that she's taken care of, and make sure that the pantry, it might not have everything in it that I'd want if it was a day I could get out and get something else to help fix a meal or something, but at least I won't starve to death, you know.
Right.
Make sure the car's gassed up, because you just never know. I'm surprised at how many people aren't prepared enough for even like a 3 or 4 inch snow. Several years ago, when I was still back on the farm, we lived out, in the middle of no place, out in the back road. And I'd been raised on this farm, so I knew what the weather was like. I knew what roads drifted shut. And I knew, when it gets so bad, you ain't going no place until they get some plows out here and do something. And I had some friends that I had made that had moved here from West Virginia. And they lived about 15, maybe 20 miles away. And it come a big snow. And they had a 4-wheel drive. I had a 4-wheel drive. And she called me up one day and was asking me, what I'd been doing and all this. We was having a conversation. And I was talking about, well, when the roads get cleared, then I'll be able to get out and get to the store. And she says, what do you mean when the roads get cleared? You got a 4-wheel drive. And I said, well, I got a 4-wheel drive, but I know where I live. I said, you ain't getting out of here until they plow these roads. Oh, pshaw. She says, we'll show you how to get in and out of there. So she talked to her husband, and they got in their 4-wheel drive, and they got up there about a half a mile from my house and figured out that they wasn't going to get to my house and had to turn around and take their tails back home. And she called me up and she says, I never seen anything like that before in my life. I said, I tried to tell you that these roads drift shut up here. You're in farm country. That wind will come along and grab all that snow that's out in those fields, and it moves it to the road, because the road is the lower point. The snow will always gravitate to the lower point. And when it gets to the lower point, it sits there until the plow comes along and pushes it away.
It's not that hard to understand.
It was a couple years later, I was working nights in a factory. Had the same 4-wheel drive truck, but it's wintertime. Along comes the snow, and I knew I'm not going to make it out of here. So I called in, and one of the bosses, young feller, knew more than me. He was going to show me, and then he was going to fire me, because I was just a big old panty waist, wouldn't get out in the snow. I just wasn't wanting to work. Right? So he decides to come out there, and he tried 3 different routes trying to get to my house. And all 3 of them, he got shut down.
Nice.
And he had to shut his porky mouth.
Good on you.
But you have to know where you are, and you have to know where the snow goes, and make you some plans, and know when to say, I can't.
Nature's a cruel mistress, man.
My dad, his last job before he retired, and then he had the stroke, but he worked for the county. And in the summer, he worked on bridges, and in the wintertime, he was in charge of the snow removal crew. And he said, people don't use any sense. He says, they get out on these back roads and they get stuck, and then it drifts their car over, and we can't see their car. So we come down through there with a plow. There goes their car.
That's got to damage their equipment too.
Yep. Bend the blades up on the trucks, and yep. I said, people just need to use some sense. And unless you have something life-threatening that you have got to get out, sit there a day or 2 if you have to. Usually there's nothing that's that important that you have to get out for that can't wait a day or two.
Right. Right.
But yeah.
Oh, people. A lot of problems would be solved if people weren't stupid.
Yeah. Just use some common sense. We need to give courses, I think, and starting in high school, maybe even junior high, of common sense.
Bunch of multiple choice questions. If you're in this situation, do you A, B, C, or D?
Yeah. But I'm not even sure that I trust the educational system to give those kind of lessons.
Well, maybe if the D entry was more cowbell, maybe it would help people.
Now I'm made the, hey, when in doubt, it's always more cowbell. Lord.
You got a full truckload of farm equipment. You got to get across town, and there's 2 feet of snow. What do? A, B, C, or more cowbell? Gotta have more cowbell.
Let's see here. We got Mount Baker ski area in Washington State holds the world record for snowfall at 1,140 inches of snow during the 1998-1999 winter season.
That is so much snow. What do they do with it all?
Well, it's a ski area.
Man.
So I guess they ski on it. But that'd be the common sense answer.
A lot of those ski resorts, they'll scrape off the natural snow and then blow the snow from the machine. I never understood that. They want the powdery snow from the machine. Oy, oy, oy.
From 2006 to 2010, about 2,000 U.S. residents died each year from weather-related causes. About 63% of these deaths were in the winter, while 31% were in the summer. Only about 6% were attributed to floods, severe storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, or lightning. These statistics do not include weather-related traffic accidents, which kill more than 7,000 Americans each year.
Yeah, especially people down south. They cannot drive in snow. Like it's just not something they're used to. They said in Atlanta, if there's 2 inches of snow, it shuts the whole city down. No one knows how to drive in it. They don't have any equipment to take it away. It just grinds to a halt.
Well, that statistic about the traffic accidents reminds me that I wanted to ask you if you have seen the information about the flying car that's supposed to be available in a couple years called the Fly.
Isn't it called a helicopter?
Nope. It's a flying car.
There's no way.
Okay.
The society's going flying cars.
Write this down because I want you to go watch this video.
All right.
JSNIP and the number 4. And I think after that, it'll say like 2 for his second channel or something. But he has a video. His latest video is about the Fly. And it's supposed to be available in 2 years.
I only see the number 2 channel. JSNIP4 with 2 in parentheses. I do see something that says, okay, Uncle Cliff, the 250-mile-an-hour flying car
That's
you
it.
wanted. It's
That's
just about here.
That's it.
No way. There's no way the general public is going airborne. Our society would implode.
Now
people can't travel in 2 dimensions.
We probably won't see this in our lifetime, you and I, because of the expense. I think it's like $250,000 for this car. All right. We'll never be able to afford that. But in the future, this is what's coming. And I will drop the link in the chat here.
I have my doubts.
Well, you're the doubting Thomas. I mean, you know.
That's true. That's true.
You always see the glass half empty. See, I always see the glass as it needs more bourbon in it.
I see the glass when how much liquid is in the glass is determined by the population making intelligent decisions. I see it as half empty because the general public does not make good decisions. Like if your business plan requires the general public to make intelligent decisions, you have a horrible business plan. It's just the way it is. People are smart. People can be wicked smart. A population is stupid usually. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Oh.
Let's see here. The worst death toll in the United States for winter storm occurred in the Great Blizzard of 1888 in the Northeast. Over March the 11th through the 14th, the blizzard dropped between 40 to 50 inches of snow in parts of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. It blocked roads and wiped out telephone, telegraph, and rail service for days. It was responsible for over 400 deaths, 200 New York alone, and sank 200 ships. New York and Boston created the first underground subway system, partly in response to the massive 1888 storm and the gridlock it created.
Holy cow. That's nuts. Hey, Jimbo's here and asks, are you feeling better? Says, good evening. I don't think we're going to be here much longer. I got to get the garbage to the curb and do a couple other things here. But hi, Jimbo.
Hey, Jimbo. Well, I'm alive, which was questionable there for a few days.
Yeah, we're happy about that.
I'm weak. Alive. I've been dehydrated. I'm trying to get my strength back, get some nourishment in me, and get some fluids pushed through me. The ulcers are acting up, and that's not good. But hey, it is what it is. And I'm on that brat diet or whatever you want to call it. That everything's got to be bland. Bananas and bread and applesauce and maybe a little chicken if it's not real spicy. Not spicy at all. Stomach's just saying, just say no.
The world of bland.
I went through several days there with nothing to eat. A couple of my friends was getting real concerned about me and said, well, you got to try to get some broth in you. And I said, it doesn't stay down. I mean, why make myself even sicker? I'm trying to get things to settle here. And once things settle, if I ain't dead yet, then I'll be able to eat a little bit. But yeah, that was a rough ride. But I think a lot of this is, they're saying, well, what made you sick? Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing that it's just more the ulcers than anything else, just being aggravated by all the stress that I've been under. A lot of people just want to kind of poo-poo and say, oh, well, it's just life. It's just, it's just the way things are. It'll go away. Well, it's a little different when you got a big gaping hole in your house and there ain't nobody trying to help you fix it. And you don't know if your entire home's going to be ruined by this or not. And even with the work that's been done, I figure my home's lost about 50% of its value by the goofy stuff that these people have done. And, cooperation from the city, no cooperation from the contractor or the insurance company. And, Like I got a call here a few weeks ago from the owner of the construction company, and I told him, I said, look, at the end of the day, you guys go home. It's just a job to you. I live here. This is my investment. And it's not like I got a bank account that I can turn to and say, oh, well, if the insurance won't fix it, then I can, because I can't. So, it's a little different from the seat I'm sitting in compared to the seat that everybody else is sitting in. So, yeah, this has worried me half to death. And maybe a little further than that.
Well, I'm glad that the township's looking like they're going to come through with something.
Well, the city has lied their tails off to their insurance company about all this. And then their insurance company has confronted me about it. And I've corrected it, and said, no, that's not the way this went down. I don't know what they think they're trying to protect themselves from at this point, but, damage has been done. This is the damage that's been done. And, this is the compensation. And it's not going to do them any good to sit around and lie about things. But we'll see, where things fall here in a couple of months. I'm going to be really interested to see how long it's going to take them to get out here and get that tree and that stump. Because it's coming out one way or the other. And they can either cooperate and go along with this.
Yeah, because that's a hazard.
Yep. And it's 5 months. I mean, we're not talking about, just a couple days or something. We're talking 5 months this has been going on.
That's government. Moves like molasses.
I dare him to come around here and say a word to me about anything ever again. Double dog dare him.
My dog is barking. The wife's at work. She's going to bark her head off here.
All right. Well, we're going to call it quits for tonight and go over and take a look at my videos that I put up today and leave me some comments and share them and all that good stuff. We'll be back here next week, Lord willing. And what you doing?
I'll have my All Things YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. Those are blowing up. Everyone's getting more packed, more questions. Really get in on those. I'm streaming Monday through Friday on Awesome Fun Things at 8:15 in the morning for just like 5 or 10 minutes. Figure out what's going on with Matt Haas. That's the name of the show. And on Wednesday, the 26th at noon, I will be on the YouTube channel Wave.video. Wave.video is a service similar to StreamYard, but they have other creator tools, editing tools. It's like a cool service. They're going to interview me. Big company. So that's noon, Wednesday the 26th on the YouTube channel Wave.video. And I have a link here, as a matter of fact. Let me drop that link.
Okay.
There we go. It's called How to Talk to the Camera Like a Live Streaming Pro by Matt Haas. There you go. So that's live in 5 days. Hit the set reminder button on that URL and come watch me the 26th at 12 noon Eastern and tell them Matt sent you.
All righty. Well, Lynn said that it was actually good to see me. Well, it was good to see you too. Bless your heart. Thank you for coming. I plan at this point, unless, my ulcers have different plans for me, but I plan to try to be on Russ's panel Saturday night. I don't know who his guest is going to be. If Jim Bashir's is still out there in the chat, he might drop it in if he knows who it is. But I haven't been keeping in touch here, lately.
He doesn't publish his videos before he goes live. He just goes live.
Well, he usually at least drops it in our group chat,
That doesn't do the public any good.
No, but at least it lets us know so that we can announce it. But I haven't been keeping in touch with anything.
That's not how you do YouTube.
Except running back and forth to the bathroom. I think I've worn a path in the carpet. Uh, but we will let you all go, and we will see you all on the interwebs. Night, everybody.
Good night.